Welcome to Beans and Breakdowns, a podcast dedicated to bridging the gap between specialty coffee and the heavy music community. On this episode, I'm joined by Rohan Mathur of the band Gradual Slip. So grab a fresh cup of coffee and wake the fuck up! What's going on, Caffeinated crew, on the podcast today? Joined by Rohan, Gradual Slip, Baltimore hardcore. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is my first cup of the day. I don't know about you.
This is my second. I got 2 cups. Shout out FYTC, baby.
It's an FYTC moment.
Yeah. The first one was a squash cream latte. It's very similar to like a pumpkin spice one, but it was interesting. It was cool. It was an Ethiopian espresso roast with like a squash cream syrup and some oat milk. It was pretty solid. But then this is a Colombian light roast pour over. It's a Finca something. It's from Java Nation in Maryland. They've got 2 shops in Rockville, Maryland. They're their own roastery, but they direct trade from Colombia and Ethiopia.
Sick. What kind of notes you got going on? Let me get in a little note check.
I was supposed to be looking for butterscotch, a little bit of citrus, but more like a candied orange citrus, and kind of a rich caramel. I got a lot of the butterscotch, maybe even a little bit of like toffee in there. Mm-hmm. I didn't get much of the citrus, but I'm the nerd moment here. I watched the pour over. It was a little over extracted. We crossed the 4-minute mark. It's cool. It's still great. It was still delicious. I didn't get a lot of the citrus, which I think is supposed to come on that front end, really, in the when you kind of nail the extraction level there. But nonetheless, it is still delicious and it's still good. So.
I appreciate that. This is a disclaimer right now, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know about this, but Rohan and I have a history because of a coffee chat that we're a part of, like on Discord. It's very exclusive.
It's open to anyone. You're free to join. You just gotta join. you just gotta handle our terrible nerdiness.
Yeah, or like send a message to I would say the King, Gage, Lonzo, or you can send a message to us, one of us, and we'll let you in. But we're part of this coffee Discord. We're basically sharing cups of coffee and dropping notes and doing pour overs and sharing recipes. Is fucking stupid. So when you hear things like extraction,
Cup International, baby,
that's it. Represent. So I've got a little something today. One of my favorite roasters in Canada, I would say, is from Toronto. It's called Mello.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Beautiful bags.
Dude,
look at this.
Hell
crazy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
This is their Ethiopia Bensa. It is a Sadamo. It's a natural, and I'm looking for blueberry, black cherry, and jasmine. Getting a lot of berry. Just a lot of berry. The jasmine's good. But to be fair, I ate like 10 minutes before we came on a lot of Japanese curry. And so my palate is a little skewed. Yeah.
No, valid. Absolutely valid. No, yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing with Ethiopians, right? Is that they're notoriously floral and yes. Very, very bright. And I think whenever you've got a brighter coffee, extracting the fruitiness is just way easier.
It's getting that jasmine that's the trick. Like if you can get the grind just right to get the jasmine to come through, which usually my recipe. Are you a fan of the Hoff?
Yeah, definitely.
So have you switched to his 5-pour method that he?
I've tried to. I'm not good at it, but like I know it's like James Hoffman ultimate V60 technique, right? Yeah. I don't know. I've been keeping my pours under 4 recently at the recommendation of Gage. And honestly, I'm really, really enjoying the way that it pulls. And like, it's fairly short extraction periods. Like I don't think anything goes over like 3.5 minutes for me. And even if I do, like I have a Tetsu Kasuya V62,
Nice.
and even if I extract like from that, or even if I do like his like hit the Kasuya method, I'll still try to do it in less pours than what he asks. And I'm really impressed. I think a lot of what I made a mistake initially because the Kasuya, you've got to grind a little coarser because it's all ceramic and the ribs are they're a lot thicker than on like a standard V60. And basically a funnel, like the pour over funnel for anyone not familiar, that it has ribs on it, and those can affect the way that your coffee is extracted. It affects the way that the heat is distributed, things like that. They're a lot thicker on the one that I'm talking about than like the thin little ribs you might see at a standard V60 at a coffee shop. So you have to get a coarser grind. Otherwise, things kind of slip through the cracks, and then you might accidentally over extract because ceramic gets a lot hotter than plastic.
Right.
So I'm like, sometimes I made that mistake initially, but then when I kind of upped the course level a little bit, I have an Ode 2.0, so like that dial is crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, like once I up the course level a little bit, it really really shines. I'll go grab a couple of the bags I have in a second. I totally forgot to bring those downstairs, but I've been working through Revolution Roasters in Oceanside, California. I got one of their limited series, and that one is really really good. And then I've also been working through the Bean Bros Ethiopian. I got it from a fellow drop, and I liked it so much that I bought another bag.
Dog Gage, we did a coffee swap. Oh fuck, maybe like a year ago, definitely earlier this year. He hit me with like 3 bags, like a few. It was like smaller, samples, but like 3 timeless. One from Bean Bros. I can't remember for the life of me. I think maybe it was a honey process, Costa Rica, which ranks very highly on my list of desired coffees. But the timeless ones I just remember. So the West Coast style is a little bit different when it comes to that coffee taste, but like it's definitely got like its trademark as compared to like what we do on the East Coast. Cause like I'm used to that counterculture, like original third wave style.
Right. And a lot of the West Coast stuff, I think it's prioritized to either be like flash brewed or used over ice.
Yeah, always.
And so in extracting it both in like, hot or like a Chemex flash brew, you can, or I at least can kind of very much distinctly differentiate how I believe those kind of beans are supposed to be brewed. But honestly, like a flash brew of like a California or a Southern California coffee is fire, dude. It's delicious.
Stop doing cold brew. No more cold brew. I know that I know that I sell cold brew at fests. It's because it makes my life very easy and it's a crowd pleaser. But if you're doing this shit at home, please do a Japanese iced coffee. Just take your V60, do 60% of it water, 40% of it ice in the bottom, and just let your mind be blown. Am I wrong?
Nope, not at all. I will admit I love a good cold brew. Shout out Alec. But there are just not very many good cold brews. That's subjective. That's my opinion. You can like cold brew all you want. You want to get the Dunkin' one, by all means. You want to go to Tim Hortons and do whatever you got to do. Ain't no problem. I got no problem with it. I'm going to be the one pulling up to a Flying J or a Pilot and pulling the black sludge out the drip machine because I find that delicious as well.
This is what I'm saying, though. It's not a judgment thing. It's just we got like the hype for the cold brew has gotten a little out of hand. We need to bring it back to basics.
I agree.
But I'm a cold brew hater just subjectively. Like I understand me and Alec get in arguments all the time. He's like, cold brew. And I'm like, nah, dude, iced coffees. So, but we all agree Tim Hortons is like a last resort, kind of keep you going.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
There's not much on the way from Montreal to Toronto, is all I'm going to say.
Nope, there is not. Honestly, like, and I mean, like, even in the States, like I'm saying, right? Like, there's a certain eloquence to like gas station coffee. It has this aura that surrounds it of like it's still kind of that like counterculture, maybe not in the third wave sense, but in like that, I do Carhartt shit type of thing, right? And it's just
Yes.
like it, I don't know. It's got this cool allure, and it doesn't taste bad to me. Like if I'm
Hmm.
walking into a Speedway and that coffee is just brought out, like they just put the burner on and it's got like the full, like the 100% nozzle, you best believe I'm getting a 30-ounce cup of that joint because it's gonna make me feel like my heart did crack, and that's what I want. If I got a long ass drive, that's what it's gonna be. Plus, I think sometimes it tastes pretty good. Same with like 7-Eleven coffee.
Hmm. That's why I people are like, oh, like, don't judge me for my Tim's. Like, don't do this for my Tim's. I'm like, I appreciate Tim's. I'm like, Tim's has kept, like, the coffee is super cheap. It's not bad. Like, it's kept the working class going for almost 100 years, I guess, however long Tim Hortons have been around.
No facts. You're really spitting those facts, bro, for sure. Nah.
I'm trying. Don't turn the Toronto on. Toronto. Where are you from? Toronto. Sound like
Nah.
Alice.
Oh, hey, when we were up there last year, that was all Alice and I did. Cause I got family in Brampton. So every time I'm up there, I'm like, oh, it's a Punjabi Brampton ting, no? Or out here going to the Rabba.
Yo, man, being in Mississauga for Hold Your Ground, and it's like everybody talks like that Brampton, Mississauga accent, man, is
Yeah.
crazy.
No, it's crazy, right? Because like, if I had gone to Hold Your Ground, I would have been posted up square one type thing.
You kind of missed it on Hold Your Ground. It was a lot of fun, but we were
Ah, dude,
talking
it looks
earlier
so
about
cool.
coming out to more fests, and yeah, I mean, Hold Your Ground's coming up, and I mean, not Hold Your Ground, but Madhouse is coming out in like
Yeah.
4 months. So
Wh-
maybe I'll come out to that.
I want to. I want to try. Like I said, I've got a bunch of family, and like I've been I've toured Canada 3 times now, and every single time it's been some of the most fun and hospitable and inviting tours that I've ever been on. And it's just like you I think it really flies under the radar, but bands like the one on your shirt, like Prowl, I think Prowl is really kind of bringing Montreal out of its isolation, out of its bubble. And then
Hmm.
obviously Cloned Apparition and Bruiserweight, like you guys are killing it too. And I know Rust is doing their thing, but they're
Yep.
from Ontario. But even still, like people are looking at Canada now, and I think that is really cool because I'm gonna put my hipster hat on. I've been with y'all since day one.
I remember, fuck, when y'all came through, was it earlier this year or was it
It was
late
last year.
last?
It was literally a year ago, like right now.
That's why I was like trying to figure out if it was 2022 because I knew it had been a minute. And at that point, the scene was like really kind of topping up because of the restrictions had just kind of got let go in May.
Yeah.
So everybody was kind of coming out, finding out what hardcore was about because they had been locked down. So when y'all played, like you were saying, like 300 people came out, and Prowl does bring out people. Like if you're on a Prowl show, because Prowl played
No, it was Cloned App, Scaramanga,
Primal
um,
Horde.
Primal Horde, Category 514.
That's I was like,
Yeah, that.
who is the one? And it was Cat. It's Cat five one
Yeah, it
four.
was Cat 514, and us, and it was just so cool to see like a big venue like that just packed the fuck out. It was
Mm-hmm.
so interesting and like so much fun. And honestly, like I've been really good friends with Alice and Alec for a really long time, so getting to hang out with them was really cool. And one of my favorite pictures of all time is Alec and I doing the jersey swap with the Cloned App and the Gradual Slip shirt. It was one of my favorite pictures ever. Um, but like I saw this at Hold Your Ground too. I love how much Canada rides for Baltimore. Like that makes my like when End It played and y'all fucking threw the table, I was like, that's that real shit. That's how you're from, you're honorary fucking Baltimore, okay? Come on.
Oh man, thank you for turning that on too, because one of my favorite accents I think in the whole of the U.S. because I'm from Georgia, so I get a bit of that twang come through. Um, but one of my favorite accents is like the Baltimore. like Hun
Yeah, yeah.
accent. And then even going down towards like Watertown and all that, like what's the
Hmm.
like down the coast, it gets
Yeah.
even thicker and it's this weird Southern mixed with Baltimore accent thing that I'm like,
Yeah, the O's are rough. People,
yeah.
the ocean, but you're never going to the ocean, okay? If you're going to the shore. You're not going to the ocean. There's no fucking ocean, okay? There's a shore, and that's it. It's where you're going.
People are like American accent, and I'm like, there's no American accent. There's like 30 accents.
Right, right. Yeah, exactly. There's like a lot of different dialects too, and like I I'm gonna say it. Montreal French, Quebecois. What even goes on
It's the
when people
best.
speak? What even goes on?
It's the
I don't
best
even
French.
I like I don't understand. It sounds like a beach bro trying to speak French. It's awesome for
I
sure.
love it.
But I was so blown away. Like the first time I was in Quebec, like I was like, oh, it's French, but it's also like not French.
Hmm.
It's so interesting. And I remember at the end of the night when we were at Foof's, I don't remember her name, but this one girl just kept trying to get me to say tabernacle, and I'm like, tabernacle? Like, what does it mean? I don't
That's what that
what
is. Yeah.
to this day I still don't know what it actually means in like slang.
It's just the F word.
Oh,
Just means
okay,
fuck.
okay,
It
that makes a lot of sense.
means everything. It means everything. So
Mm,
tabernacle and I have a terrible accent, but like colis, this is another
hmm.
one. So
Got it. Wow, I'm learning so much today.
I know there's other ones, but those are the two common. The Alec is better. He's he can pass
He
the
turned it.
Quebecois.
Yeah, he turned it on, and I was genuinely impressed. I was like, "Wow, man, you're not the same person."
I thought that man was from Buffalo when I met him. Cause he like comes up, he's like, "Hey, yo, man!" Like he's like speaking American to me, and I was like, "Who
Yep.
the fuck is this dude? He's from Buffalo." And then he turned on the French when Max came up, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So Alex, one of those. I have so much love for the Clone Apparition gang.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I've heard a leak of their new two songs, and I'm just gonna say y'all ain't ready.
I'm ready. I'm very, very, very ready.
How did you get into the scene?
Um. So back in back in like middle school, obviously I was opened to like the gateway new metal bands, Linkin Park, System of a Down, Slipknot, Disturbed, all of them.
Hmm.
I'll still ride for Disturbed. I don't care. 10,000 Fists is a banger of an album. Like I'm still rock it, and it has some riffs in it. I ain't gonna hold you, but yeah, from then like I got really into like I was a Bullet for My Valentine's super fan in seventh and eighth
Hmm.
grade. Like I bought their shirts from Hot Topic. I had the Poison on like both different CD variants, like the pink one and the green one, and like Waking the Demon was the first drop C song I'd ever learned how to play on guitar.
Sick.
But I skipped the scene phase entirely after that. I went straight to technical death metal. If it didn't have blast beats, it was objectively bad. And I was like, if it isn't necrophagist, I don't like it.
Holy
Uh,
shit.
I know it was weird. I was like a 10th grade elitist. It was, I look back on those days and I'm like, what a little dork. Um, but then I actually moved. I got into I was friends with a band called An Obscure Signal, and they were really close with Periphery.
Hmm.
So like I then moved kind of into like getting into Periphery a little bit and moved like a lot into prog. I became a huge like Dream Theater fan. Um, and then we started playing like prog music. Like my first band was a progressive death metal band, which then moved into like genty stuff, and then ultimately from like 2013 to like 2017, like that was the main focus of what I played. And we were playing with like deathcore bands, and then we were playing with bands like Sworn In, bands like Knocked Loose, like
Mm.
back when Knocked Loose was super small. Um, and we were just like the outlier, we were the one playing the 6 minute songs, and we were like maybe we should be a little bit heavier. But then ultimately that band, because of creative differences, ended up disbanding. Um, and right around like 2015 and 2016 is when I started to kind of like open the threshold for more music. Um, I'd always loved like Throwdown, and I'd always enjoyed Hatebreed and things like that. But the very first like hardcore like EP that I was like, oh my gosh, this is the music that I've been looking for my entire life, was Outbursts EP. Um, and that those like six songs absolutely changed the way that I see music and the way that I see energy. And I was like, this music has moved me in a way that shreddy music never has.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, for like the past 8 years, it's just kind of morphed into an eclectic mix of things. But like I've very much been, or tried to be, as part of the hardcore community as I can. Um, I love, yeah, I love it. And since then, it's just kind of opened my ears to a lot of amazing music, and I've made a lot of connections and amazing friends.
Mm-hmm.
So no
Because
stopping there.
you also play in a deathcore band, right?
Yeah, yeah. I joined a MySpace deathcore band called Thus Spoke Zarathustra. It's straight up 2007 music. One of the one of the merch designs we did was the Millionaires,
Mm-hmm.
and and you know it's really fun to play that kind of nostalgic and an old school or retro feel to things. Plus, like, with the waves that like Ifira is making with that brand of metalcore that's coming out right now, and I absolutely love it. Like Nomad, like Balmora,
Oh yeah.
um, all of that stuff is stuff that I in my formative years, like, I loved growing up, like Poison the Well, Prayer for Cleansing. Um, so there's a lot of love for that genre in me. And so when I got asked to play in Thus Spoke, I was like, oh, absolutely. It'll be so cool to pretend I'm in a mirror. Like, it's so fun. And it's like, it's not the same feeling I get when I'm playing like hardcore, but
Mm-hmm.
it is still such a, like a meaningful experience for me. And like, um, we're headed out at the end of November, and I'm so excited to play those shows.
That's crazy. That's like I recently been listening to a bit of like Bill Murray,
Oh yeah.
which is it strikes like such a chord with me because I know you said you skipped your scene phase. The past few episodes, I feel like we've been inundated with scene kids. Um,
Yeah.
and so I've also being one of them. Seeing the singer from Attack Attack that sang the clean parts on Someday Came Suddenly, like all the little auto tune parts.
Hmm.
He's the one. He's like, I think his name's Evan, but he is Bill Murray.
Right, right. Yeah, I knew it was
So
the dude from Attack Attack.
it's just crazy, like to
I got
hear
in.
that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I got into a lot of scene music, but it was definitely like after I'd been like, okay, you know what? Maybe death metal isn't everything. I'm always going to be a death metal kid at heart, always and forever. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, like,
Mhm.
I think the best scene band to ever exist is Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Wow,
Um,
really?
oh, they're so good, dude. So good. But like, I also was like really open to hearing all that kind of stuff like post most kids scene phases. Like, I didn't get into Bring Me the Horizon until like 2014.
What?
Yeah, my actually my roommate, he's sitting right there. He was a big scene kid, and I'd be like, bro, this shit sucks. And then
No.
like 5 years later, I'm like, all right, I lied. This shit's hard. Like, when
I,
Suicide Season came out, I'm like, how can you stomach this? And now I'm like, this is genius level work.
dude, that album is a fucking game changer. Like straight up game changer. I was like you though, like I wasn't an elitist about it, but because I'm a drummer, I loved hearing a lot of those like when I got into deathcore and then I found As Blood Runs Black and like Black
Ah,
Dahlia
man.
and like even like Carnifex. So some of the more like techie deathcore stuff and then
Mm,
going on that side, it was like, oh shit, like there's actual good musicians. Like it's not all just like sloppy fucking seen kids playing and drop
Yeah.
B. Like there are actually good drummers. And then it's like the first time I heard My Fears Have Become Phobias is like dudes playing 64ths on the kick drum, like in a breakdown. And it was the fastest I'd ever heard because I didn't listen to Cryptopsy. It's the fastest I've ever heard a kick drum played. And then found like Despised Icon and stuff like that. And now, like one of my favorite bands to see live is Dying Fetus.
Dying Fetus is also one of my favorite bands. I love them. They're from here. Their drummer and I are fairly close. Trey was my neighbor growing up. Um, we would see each other at the burrito place, and like
Nice.
he, my drummer took lessons from him, so he would come over to our practice space and just teach him how to play drums. Undeniably one of, if not the best drummer I've ever met. And he's just such a good dude, and he's a normal ass dude. Like he goes to like when he's home, he goes to our local bar and like sings karaoke with all his friends, and like just hangs out and drinks beer and eats wings. Like and I think I think that's really what, when I was younger especially, it's really what solidified that I'm like, oh yeah, he's just some guy, but he's also like the best drummer in death metal, and that duality is just what I want to that's what I want to emanate. Like I want to play these shows, and I want to be a part of this community, but I also definitely want to be the guy that just sits there on my ass and watches football on Sundays, cuz like that's just such an appeal to me.
Yep. Like deep down we all want to be normies, but we're drawn to like the most weird, stupid shit, right?
Yep. Yep, exactly. Yeah, and like I mean, Fetus is putting out some of the most insane music ever, and like even their new record is phenomenal, and it's just so cool to watch them do what they do, and then also see Trey come home and just be a guy.
Yeah. People don't realize how wholesome death metal actually is, like at its
I
core.
mean, Frozen Soul had people playing Magic in the pit, which I have no opinion about either way. If that's cool, it's cool. If you don't think it's cool, whatever.
It's definitely cool. Like I'm gonna straight up objectively say, if you've got magic going on in the pit, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because then there'll also be like 20 push-ups in the pit. Like everything's happening in the pit.
Right. Like you can't sit there and be like, oh, the army crawl is cool, but if I'm gonna tap 4 creatures and play mana, you tell me that that's stupid. Like, come on, man.
Straight up. You can't clown one thing and then be pro another if they're equally stupid. Like
Exactly. You get it.
How much money can you make army crawling? 0. How much money can you make playing magic? Potentially a lot.
Yep.
So
Yep. You can also lose a lot of it. That's why I actively try to not play, because if I do, I'll get sucked down a rabbit hole again and be in way more debt than I already am.
Damn. Get that those $1,000 decks.
It is crazy. One of my best friends has like a case full of them, like a Pelican case, like that you would keep like a pedal board in. He brings 2 anytime he goes on tour, and I'm like, which one's your pedal board and which one's the one with $13,000 worth of magic cards in it? And he was like, don't worry about it, I got it.
That's stress. Does he lock
I know.
it?
Yeah. There's
Okay,
like,
good.
he locks it. There's like an air tag in it and everything, but like
Nice.
he just like, he'll bring it on tour, and then he'll be like, all right, who wants to play Magic? And he'll just
No.
like hand you the deck, and he's like, here, just use this one. And it's like one of the coolest hollow decks you've ever seen. Like it's like a black white artifact deck, and it's just insane.
The only extra Pelican case I will ever bring on tour is the one similar to what Gage has made. That travel pour over kit.
He kind of went off. He texted me saying there's something wrong with me when he made that. I was like, nah, bro.
Nah.
That's like next level revolutionary right there.
I'm gonna need him to send me the specs just so that I
know.
can.
I know. I need the exact cutout dimensions of those foam inserts.
I think our grinders are maybe a little bit different, but you can just do the pick and pack from Uline, and I think you'll be set.
I'm just gonna go into further debt, like I said I wouldn't, and get a Commandante.
Oh yeah, the C40 or the newer one.
The C40 I think is enough. I think the newer one is for like competition level, and I'm not that good. I don't need that. I just need something that's gonna give me an even grind and be as many clicks as I want it to be.
Just get the Time War.
Yeah, I want the C3 Pro. I think it'd be really cool to have. Right now, I've just been using my fellow,
Mm.
because my manual grinder broke. But anytime Gage has come over, he brings the C3, and it's pretty great. Actually, um, the last time when my manual grinder broke, I was in the middle of grinding for some of the coffee you sent him from Ballum.
Oh yeah, the competition series.
Yeah, he gave me the last bit of it. It was like, 40 grams of it left, and he was like, "You got to try this." And I was
It's
like, "All right."
crazy.
And then he was like, "Save the bag." So I still have the bag over in my coffee station, but it was incredible. It was so good. I couldn't believe the way that coffee tasted.
So I actually met the guy who runs Balam. He has a shop here in town. It's called Origin. And he started Balam. His family's the one that has the farm in Guatemala.
Hmm.
Uh, and basically they took like Panamanian and geishas from another is Panama and another place, maybe Honduras, and they are growing them in Guatemala. Um, and so basically he's doing direct trade just with his family farm. So he literally only roasts Guatemalan coffee.
That's
It's
so
crazy.
awesome. That's so awesome.
He's a really nice guy. He actually helped. Do you know September Coffee?
No, I don't.
It's Kyle Roswell's brand.
Oh, okay.
He helped Kyle set up like the direct trade partner with the Peruvian beans that they're doing now. Um, but
That's
I tried.
awesome.
So he's carrying some of their stuff. So finally got to try it. The cranberry punch. It's like an anaerobic, semi-anaerobic Colombian. Crazy. Tastes like cranberry juice.
That's so sick.
It's
That
crazy.
is that is so dope. There's a um there's a really really cool shop over by where I work, like where my office is. It's called Rare Bird Coffee Roasters, and they are one of the coolest roasteries around me. They're all super super nice, and everybody's so inclusive about like getting other people into like third wave coffee. Their roastery is in the shop, and it's all glass paned, so you can just watch it
Mm.
all happen. It's so so cool, and like they do events. They're like, come learn how to do cupping sessions, and like they're free. You just sign up, you come in and you do a cupping session of any of their like new roasts. They've
Mm-hmm.
got two new ones in from India, and as an Indian, I think that's so cool. I really really want to try them. I won't be able to for a while, but when
Yeah.
I get back, I'm going to. I got this Wheela Gesha. It's like
Mm.
a semi-washed anaerobic from Colombia. It's called Bella Alejandra, and it's an anaerobic fermentation with added mucilage of SL28 until 200 hours of fermentation have completed, keeping the pH from falling below 4.3. It's so 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 insane. So it goes anaerobic fermentation for 200 hours, and then it's pulped, and it helps develop this like
Mm-hmm.
floral and citric profile that you kind of get from a lot of the geisha coffees. And like then it's re-fermented in the sun with mandarin peels for 18 days.
How much is this coffee per pound?
I got let's see, the one thing I bought for Gage and I to try, I got 128 grams, and it was $30.
That's not bad.
It's not at all. It wasn't at all. It was like, I mean, the one of the baristas like hooked me up too. He was like, dude,
Okay.
because like I like went in there for the first time, and I ended up staying there for like an hour and a half just talking about coffee with him, and he was bringing out like empty bags of stuff that he had just gone and like selected and picked up, and it was really really cool. And this coffee was used for a competition for them as well. That's why I'm bringing it
Mm.
up. And that was in July, so it was roasted in July, and then it was frozen, and then it was bagged in September, and I picked it up like, I don't know, 10 days after it was bagged, and it was like one of the best pour overs I've ever had. It was
Fuck.
so so good. I want to do a coffee swap with you too, and I will definitely send you some of it. It is phenomenal. Like you're looking for mandarin, lemongrass, and black tea. You get a lot of the Assam tea like shining through,
Mm-hmm.
especially on the back profile. And when it cools, oh my God, when it cools, it straight up tastes like Earl Grey tea. It's so
Yeah.
wild.
That's so I've gotten very into that tea like tasting coffee. Like I don't know what it is about it, like the delicate flavor. I really honestly I don't know. Maybe it's because it's been like doing Ethiopians for too long that berry notes kind of are old, I guess, to us. I don't know what it is. But the Assam tea notes in a coffee, that's like I love that shit.
Right. Like if one of your tasting notes is bergamot, you've sold me already.
Yeah, straight.
It's
Have you
it.
ever had a bergamot? I want to know how many people have tried an actual bergamot.
I haven't. I've had like a bergamot style like limeade.
Mm-hmm.
It tasted like key lime.
That's
Like
it's like a weird, delicate version of an orange.
yeah, yeah. Like it I get it. It's much sweeter in
Mm-hmm.
not in like sugar content, but in flavor profile than any other citrus that I've had. Like
It's almost like a cross between an orange and a peach.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it smells so good.
It does. So this is the thing is like I've never tried a bergamot, but I've tried things that have bergamot like flavor, and I think that's like the consensus amongst everyone is that they've never had because bergamot's like this weird citrus that grows like in Africa, I think,
Yeah. Hmm.
and we don't really get it in North America at all. Yet every coffee roaster knows what it tastes like apparently.
Yeah, it's sick. Like Earl Grey ice cream is like my favorite ice cream flavor. It's I don't know.
What?
It's whoever Earl was, he put his whole joint in it because that stuff goes crazy.
He put the team on his back and got the
Yeah, nah,
tea.
for real. The backpack was heavy because he carried them fools.
Earl walks so we could run. Um,
Damn right. No, I
uh,
love it. I even keep like a box, like I have like a little canister of like Earl Grey tea, and if I'm feeling
mhm.
like if I'm not feeling coffee, then low Earl Grey tea, a little bit of like vanilla almond milk, and a fuck ton of sugar, because to me Earl Grey tea has to be sweet. So
Yes.
good.
You should order from Satanic Tea Co.
I've been meaning to, and I just haven't. Are they all they're cracked up to be?
Yeah, it's fucking the best tea.
Sweet.
Dom is one of the funniest people. They have a band now. It's a metal band.
I That is so cool.
And it's literally just called Satanic Tea Co. And all of their songs are about tea.
Based.
Straight up.
Based. That's so cool. That's very, very sick. I love their logo. Their logo looks like a black metal logo.
Yeah. Because it used to be called Pitch Black North and it started as a clothing brand. And then you just started blending tea for fun. And now that's all that they do, really.
I really need to try some.
It's very good. They have one called Crucifixion of Christ. It's like the best blend that they have. But I tried their vanilla Earl Grey, also based.
Sweet, sweet, dude. That's awesome. I think.
Um, no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I think tea and coffee go a lot more hand in hand than most people give them credit for.
Yeah.
Um, I I know that a lot of people find like specialty coffee or specialty beverages in that regard to be like ostentatious and pretentious, and a lot of the people who kind of push the community in that way definitely give off that air and that vibe. But I just think it's so cool that you can extrapolate such versatility from beans or from leaves. Like
Yep.
why is wine tasting cool but specialty coffee isn't? I don't that disconnect never made much sense to me.
No. And like I give a lot of props to here in Montreal, we only have like one roaster that goes out of its way to teach people like how to taste coffee. They do like a monthly cupping of their new offerings in the store, which is like away from the roaster because the roaster is kind of like in a outside area of town, but the shop is central to like the city. And
Hmm.
so they do it in French and in English. They teach you how to read the coffee wheel. They teach you how to taste. They tell you like what cupping is and everything, and then they walk you through the stages. So you can be a complete novice to just coffee in general, and it'll work for you.
That's yeah, exactly. That's so
So
awesome.
yeah, like you were saying about the shop, like trying to get people in. I know a lot of us in hardcore love the pretentious barista. Like we like being abused by our coffee professionals for some reason, and that's cool in a sense.
Exactly.
But there are people who need the opposite and they don't know what they're doing and they don't want to feel intimidated. Not everybody gets in the pit and spin kicks. Some people need to just, be ushered in slowly. So those people that need that, I think that these cuppings and like introductory to coffee tasting is extremely important, especially when it's offered by people who are very patient and nice and can clearly explain. Because I'm a fucking idiot, and I'm like, you've never tried coffee or you've never tasted a gooseberry? Like, I don't know. But yeah, like you're saying, it's just very interesting to see even the spectrum of types of people that are in coffee, because
hmm
it's like everyone from the whole cross section.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really cool to see how those cross sections intersect at so many different ways. Like just the cup Discord, for example, like being able to take hardcore and coffee and have so many people that are interested in both want to be a part of that community. Honestly, when Gage and I started it, we were floored by how many people were like, "Oh, hell yeah, this is awesome." And like I mean, it has its ups and downs, but like so does most channels with their activity, but it's been so cool
Mm-hmm.
not only to just interact with people there, but then to meet people at like festivals or shows or whatever it is and then have some sort of common ground alongside the music. It just deepens like the relationships that I'm able to cultivate with people, and I think that is just one of my favorite things about coffee right now.
Yeah, it's the experience behind it, right? It's not just the product, but it's
hmm
about like the story or like you said, the common grounds. Whoa.
Ah,
Whoa.
that's
um,
awesome.
but yeah, I mean I think it's always important to not get caught up in like just the science or like just this and a lot of the judgment and elitism. That's why I started the podcast, is because there's elitism in hardcore. We've all experienced it, especially if you've been in it for 15 plus years.
Right.
Um, and then in coffee, it's the same. You've got the old heads that are like super pretentious and things like that. But then, you know, you've got people who really want to like take time and evangelize people on the correct coffee culture. So
hmm
that's why I think it's very important to remove kind of these walls of like elitism and being pretentious and just kind of like letting people find their own way in whatever avenue that is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's cool to it's cool to make coffee one of the like staples in the way that I socialize
Mm-hmm.
because it's been so interesting to hear what uses people have for it. And especially like in hardcore or in heavy music in general, it's like, crew use it to make sure that they can keep functioning. Like bands are always looking for crazy fun coffee shops, and even if they're like, they don't give a shit about tasting notes or anything like that, they're still going to find like the great nitro cold brew and things like that. And I love it as a unifier, and I really hope that aspect of it is here to stay, not just in heavy music, but in general. It's always been more about like just drinking it, right? It's like when people say they're social smokers, it's like I feel like that same camaraderie exists when someone's like, hey, you want a cup of coffee? Like, even if you weren't thinking about it at all, or you're
Yeah.
like, maybe I shouldn't, you're still gonna be like, yeah, I'll absolutely take one.
If you walk into the shop and you smell it, you're going to want one.
Exactly, exactly. And it's like, I know everybody clowns like people sitting there and writing their screenplays, but like how much creativity has spawned from coffee shops? It's got to be a ridiculous amount. And that is just so cool to me.
It's the truth. The amount of reading I've done at a coffee shop is more than I've done at any other place. And it's not much, but it's enough. I want to feel cool.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very cool. It is so sick. And yeah, and again, like bringing people in music together alongside the music is just like the biggest bonus for me.
It's true. Gradual Slip.
Yes.
You're doing vocals.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose this is as good of a time as any to mention that moving forward, Gradual Slip is going to be on a bit of a hiatus. We played the Cruelty show. It was really, really, really fun doing vocals. I can't wait to keep doing vocals. Um, but with Tristan leaving, and all the best to him. That was his baby. He came up with the name. He started the project. It really it didn't feel right to carry it on without him there. And that's not to say that we're all done playing music. We're not. We've got something new in the works. It's going to be awesome. Like I'm very very excited. We're going to be we have pre-production done for a demo, and we're going to be recording most of it in January. So it'll be out very very soon. It's not what GS was. It's a little bit different, but I think it sounds amazing. It's straight up. It sounds like All Out War and Marauder,
Ooh.
and yeah, I think it's so much fun. And a lot of like the history of Gradual Slip came with a lot of like shifts in our sound. Like the first EP that they dropped before I joined was, people called it Gradual Slipknot. And then when it evolved and we released a couple of more tracks, it was very much along that like Varials style metalcore. But I always wanted to play more along the lines of like hardcore. So then when I would write, it would kind of shift, and then there was this discrepancy of like sticking true to like whatever the Gradual Slip sound was, and then moving into the direction that we wanted to. And when No Hope to begin with came out, I thought that was such a perfect blend of the music. I really really enjoyed the record process with that. Um, and it's definitely one of like the coolest pieces of music that I've done, and I'm gonna love it forever. But as an entity, that was Gradual Slip, and moving forward, virtually the same lineup is going to be something new. It's going to be something exciting. I already sent Kyle from Cohesion the instrumental demo, and he was like, "Yo, this fucks," and I was like, "Yeah, it does, bro." I'm like, I'm really really excited to drop it. Um, Give me a second. I'll be right back. My girlfriend is leaving for work, and I have to go say bye to her because I'm gonna fly out while she's not here.
Oh
So
no. Go.
thank you for your patience.
No, it's all good.
I brought the bag though.
Oh, Ballum.
Yeah, and then
Uh-huh.
this was the Bean Bros that we got from the fellow drop, so I liked it so much that I had to get another one.
Yo, I love their branding. It's like
Yeah, it's super cool. I love it too.
it's not what you would expect when you hear the term Bean Bros.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like it's from Denmark. So I wasn't expecting it to be from Denmark. I thought it was gonna be from like San Diego or something.
Dude, it's from Denmark?
Yeah, it's roasted in Copenhagen.
Oh my God, I'm such a fucking idiot. I
Yeah.
went.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I didn't even know. I went to 3 different coffee collectives.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I went to La Cabra,
Oh yeah, of course.
of course. Fuck. I didn't know Bean Bros was from there. I was looking at all the roasters that I knew, because I was on European coffee trip looking at their list.
Hmm.
Also, if you're traveling Europe, this is like a nice tip for anybody who tours Europe or travels Europe. European coffee trip, they have an app and you can look up per city.
I'm doing it now. Does it work for the UK? Because I literally leave for the UK today.
Yeah, it
Sweet.
does.
Sweet. I'm doing it now. I already got some recommendations, but
Yes, you need to go to Watch House.
okay. Where's Watch House?
It's there's in London, there's the Borough Market, I believe is what it's called.
The London's super accessible with the train, and we also have a day off in London. So
Okay.
I plan on using that day to go to like at least 3 shops.
Yo, so the one that I went to, it's like their main roaster.
Hmm.
It's just look up Watch House Roastery.
Okay. I definitely will.
It's near the Tower Bridge.
We're playing the Black Heart in London.
Oh, dude. Oh man. Okay, that's amazing. So there's actually one around the corner from there too,
Oh, let's
called
go.
Glass Coffee.
I think that was one of the ones that Adam recommended to me when I put it in. I asked for recommendations in the Cup Discord,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a couple of good ones. So I've got a few locked in. Um Watch House was on there, Glass is on there, Dark Arts, Proof Rock, obviously.
Dark Arts is so far outside the city, but if you can get there, you should and say what's up to
We're
Blair.
okay. Yeah, I mean we're going all around, so I think we might have some time, and we have our own, like we're driving our own van,
Oh,
which
sick.
is going to be interesting driving on the other side of the road. We'll see how it goes, but fuck it, we ball. And then in Manchester, I'm supposed to stop at Idle Hands, Siop Shop, Talk, and then Fig and Sparrow.
Oh, dude, yeah, I think I gave all.
Yep. Yep. That was all you. And then Adam gave me Proof Rock. But yeah, all the ones that you dropped are the ones that I'm gonna go to.
That's my wife is very supportive of the coffee addiction that I have. And so whenever we travel, she's like, I'm like, these are all of the shops, and then we kind of like pick from the best that it fits our trail. But yeah, like there were some crazy ones in the UK and Dublin. If y'all ever make it to Dublin, man, coffee is dope there.
I want to go to Ireland very bad. Ireland is a bucket list location for me. I've been to Europe for a tour once before, but I only had a layover in Ireland. We didn't play.
Damn.
Yeah, I it's like a dream location for me. It would be so cool to spend some time like in Europe proper and just like explore those coffee opportunities. I hope that one day I get to do it, but for now, being able to tour means I get to check out some really cool spots.
Mhm.
Like especially in the US, like Blueprint in St. Louis, some of the best coffee I've ever had. That was really cool. Never would have been there if it weren't for music. Um and then obviously like Dayglow, Verve, and all the
Verve
larger.
is
Verve is phenomenal. It's so good.
SS tier.
And it's not egregiously expensive. Like I don't mind spending $18 at Dayglow for a cup of coffee, but I can also get a phenomenal pour over for $8 at Verve, and it's great. Um, I'm gonna do both. Like I'm gonna just spend the
Just
entire,
spend
you know,
$30 in coffee
yeah,
that day.
darn right, and then like $50 on gas just getting around to each shop. But but yeah, like Verve is super cool, and then like Metric in Chicago, and then Black and
Mhm.
White. Um, and Baltimore, honestly, Baltimore has a really nice like third wave um like presence. Um, like you have Ceremony, you have Artifact, you have Vent, like Sophomore. There's really cool spots. There's like Three Bean.
Mhm. I've yet to try black
One
and white because you mentioned black and white.
Black and White is amazing. Gage brought over this one. It straight up tasted like strawberry shortcake. It was the wildest thing.
I love that.
I think it was their Pink Bourbon.
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
crazy. Because black and white's from the Carolinas, right? They're from like Charlotte, I
Mm,
think. Yeah.
yeah. And then there's another one in the Carolinas called Second State, which is really good.
Second State used to be called something else, and I used to live down the street from there.
Yeah. Dude, that's sick.
It was called Collective.
Oh, yeah. Right. Um, one of my friends actually, he in Hinesville, Georgia, he moved down there and started his own company. It's called Z Beans out in Hinesville, Georgia.
What is
Um,
his name?
Nick Reardon.
Did he play in a band?
He did. He played in a bunch. His most recent band was called Ruin. Do you know Tyler Mazza? He played in Crafter.
No, but I'm Hinesville's an hour from where I'm from.
Yeah. So in Hinesville, they opened a shop a couple of years ago called Z Beans, and then this is what I mean about coffee bringing people together in music. They had a pop-up shop, bless you, in they had a pop-up shop at Furnace Fest last year, and my bassist and I worked it. So we're making coffee at Furnace Fest, like at a vendor tent, and it was just so cool because I got to see Thrice play the Illusion of Safety all the way through, and I got to see Sunny Day Real Estate, which is something I never thought I would ever be able to do. Like it was phenomenal, and it's all because I was serving coffee, and I had to do a little salt based something, right? So they had like coffee and they had apple cider, so I'm like, no, this is what we're gonna do. So I made a spiced apple cider uh cold brew and a caramel spiced apple cider latte, and because it was apple cider concentrate, it was almost like a syrup. So you just put a little bit of the syrup in there over the ice, and I was hitting that brew. We only served iced drinks, but that's because it was really hot in Alabama in September. But it was so cool, and like bands got free coffee. So I'm just every band is just pulling up to this tent. Like, Comeback Kid gave us, like, we were like, it's free, and they were like, no, and they put like $20 into the cup that I was gonna make my own coffee in, and they're like, there you go, that's yours. And I'm like, okay, thanks. And then like I was like bringing cold brews over to Angel Dust because they're all, I mean, like Justice, and then their tour manager Aunt, they're from back home, obviously. So I was like, I'm gonna go get you guys coffee. Hold on.
Yeah,
Don't
those Baltimore royalty, I guess.
Again, just normal dudes.
Man, that's Angel Dust is coming here Sunday, so I'm gonna go see them.
It's a very, very, very cool show, and their new stuff. I haven't heard it yet, but I have very high hopes. Like it's gonna be.
I'm on board. They lost me for a minute, but I'm back on board.
I'm glad you're on the train. It's a great ride. It's an enjoyable ride.
Who are you touring with in the UK?
So I'm going out with a band called Ninth Realm. It's like fantasy metal crossover with some hardcore riffs. So it's like sword and axe music. It's
Sick.
definitely, you hear the first riff and you're like, oh yeah, I'm putting the helmet on and charging off into battle on horseback. Like, but then there's also some really cool riffs in it. They've been around for a while as well, and we're going out with High Command. And then a band from the UK called Inhuman Nature that they released a split with. I'm playing bass for them on this run, and when they asked me to do it, like he couldn't even finish the sentence. I was like, "Yep, I'm down. I don't care. Tell me when. Doesn't matter. I'll make the room for it." But they released an album last year. It's called A Fate Unbroken. It's very, very cool. It's a concept album about this fictional world that they've created, and then their drummer actually writes a comic for it. So he does like graphic like a graphic novel for it as well, and I think he already released his first issue of it. But if you just look up Ninth Realm and you look up A Fate Unbroken, it should pop up with both. It's gonna be a really, really fun time. I'm excited to play fantasy metal slash crossover in the UK. I think it'll really resonate with the blokes over there.
Man, it's a fitting place to play it, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely.
where all that shit's from anyway, or based around, or
Yep, exactly.
that's fucking
Exactly.
sick. So y'all gonna like do D&D campaigns like at each show?
That would be so fun. Like I didn't have enough time to like plan out doing cool stuff other than looking for coffee shops, but it would have been really cool to be able to set like a one shot for each spot and do it in the world that the album is based off of. Maybe one day I'll pitch that idea to them. I'll be like, yo, so my friend Grayson told me this thing, right? You guys should do, and hopefully we can make that happen. But yeah, like I'm super excited to be out there. We're out there for a week, and it's gonna be a fun time. We've locked in like some really cool things to do during the day, and like I think all of like these venues are like really, really good venues. Like some of them even have lodging like at the venue, which is crazy. But I'm really honored that they asked me to do the run with them. Like that meant a lot. So it's gonna be hella fun. And then I get back for a week, and then I fly to Flyover Fest. And there's gonna be a big Baltimore meetup there with Jive Bomb and Sinister Feelings. Shout out Power Violence, Sean Crim Mode. But then after that, when I get home, like literally 4 days after that, 5 days, like 2 days after Thanksgiving, I leave for the Thus Spoke Zarathustra run. So I have a very, very busy November.
That's crazy.
And the coffee's gonna keep me alive.
It will. It will be the fuel and the dopamine that you need
Yeah, yeah, for
to
sure.
keep it all in check.
Definitely, definitely. And I'm gonna make my way back to Canada soon, I promise. But you got to bring bruiser weight down.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean,
Yep.
we got to do. I want to do meetups. This sounds fun. Our meetups they take forever because it's like 6 fucking hours. You got to drive.
Right, right. No, no. When you're down here, we're gonna brew and we're gonna eat. So
I'm there for the soft
just
shell crab.
yeah, yeah. There's no better place to get it.
It's
No
true.
better place in the world.
Those crab cakes are
Anyone who tells you otherwise is lying. If
tripping.
you're gonna get crabs from anywhere that isn't Maryland, they're not real crabs. Sorry.
They're fake crab.
Certified vegan.
Certified vegan crabs, imitation crab. It's like I love
Yeah.
watching Gordon Ramsay, and they're like, "Oh, I'm like this one guy's like, have you tried the crab cakes?" And the guy's like, "I'm allergic to crab." And Gordon Ramsay's like, "There's no crab in it."
It's not real. You'll be fine. Nothing's gonna happen to you.
No, you'll be fine. You'll be good.
Yep. Yep.
Well, I hope you survive November. It sounds like you're gonna have a lot of fun, honestly.
I'm very
Because
excited. Yep.
the coffee scene in the UK is like people maybe don't realize it, but it's heavy. It's good. Uh,
Yeah, I'm very, very, very stoked for all of that. And I'm excited to experience coffee not in North America. I really got into coffee like during the pandemic. Like I'd always been a fan of it. I had like a French press and I would enjoy like using like a little KitchenAid grinder and stuff, but from like 2020 onward is when I really got into it, and
mhm.
I haven't had a chance to experience it in international means other than just ordering beans from around the world.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to see what the culture is like, what the people are like, and everything I've heard so far has been almost entirely positive. So it leaves me with a good note. No pun intended.
Basically, everywhere you go, people want to chat.
Excellent, excellent. Because I will nerd out for forever.
Yep. Especially glass if you catch them on the right time. They had some leftover Gesha that they made cold brew with, and it was the best cold brew I've ever tried. And that's coming from a cold brew hater. So uh,
Hell yeah, dude.
my wife still brings it up because she like loves cold brew. She's like the best cold brew I ever had was at Glass. So Glass, if you're listening, send me some coffee. Let's be friends.
No, yeah. I was like Dark Arts, Watch House, any and everything that you recommended. I'm gonna try to hit as many as I possibly can.
Yeah, you should. It's gonna be sick. Dark Arts, that's a homie, Blair. He's the best. And he'll hook you up for sure. He loves when bands come through.
Sweet.
Like
Sweet.
he used to play in a band with do you know Gavel
No, I don't.
from they're from Mississauga and
Oh,
Hamilton.
cool. Cool, cool.
But he used to play with two of the members in another band called Wolves because he's originally from Toronto, like
Oh, nice.
Mississauga. But he's their wholesale manager or director now. Awesome dude.
hmm Sweet. I'm very eager. I'm super excited to get out there. I fly out in 5.5 hours. So it's gonna be a good time.
Awesome. Well, this is like I said before we froze and everything melted down. This has been a lot of fun. I'm really happy that we finally got to like chat it up, not on the Discord. But I just have one last question for you before we go.
Yeah.
What's your favorite city for beans and breakdowns?
My favorite city is the greatest city in America, and that's Baltimore, fucking Maryland, baby. Don't you forget it.
Damn right. The legacy of hardcore. I mean, we don't even have to go into it. Like, it's a great city.
Yeah, it really is. And any and everyone I talk to that hasn't actually been to Baltimore gives it this bad rap, and I'm like, you know what, maybe you should just come visit one day. And that's in the most non-threatening way possible. I just want to show you how amazing the city is. Like,
It's
yeah,
nice. People are nice.
it's great. And specifically in heavy music right now, the scene is alive. And it was a lot of people are like, "Oh, the scene is dead. The scene is dead." It was never dead. It never was. You just People were just ignorant on where to look. But the core group of people that are putting on and hosting and going to shows are fantastic. And every show I go to, I see new people, young people, old heads coming out. It's alive and well, and it was never dead.
We love to hear it. Shout out Jive Bomb. Shout out End It.
Jive Bomb, End It, Sinister Feeling, Erode, Morbid Deity, Gasket, Doubt, whole bunch of there's so many I can name. So many.
But yeah, I know Ethan's been doing a lot of booking from Jive Bomb. I need to have him on at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Ethan is one of the hardest working people I've ever met. Absolutely incredible person. He'll do anything and everything to make sure that people have a good time at his shows. And it is truly, you can watch it happen. And I, I'm a lot older than he is, but sometimes it feels like I look up to him just because he's got this solid foundation, and I'm just like, he's really killing it. So,
nice.
He's doing great. And also shout out Putrescine. Gore grind is the best genre ever.
It is, though. Gore grind and cyber grind have been making their way into my listening recently. So
yeah, if you like gore grind, then Putrescine is something that's right up your alley. It's Ethan and from Jive Bomb and Sinister Feeling, and then like Sean Krim and Nick. Like it's their project, their gore grind project, and it is so good. It's toilet bowl, poo poo stinky. You shouldn't wear deodorant when you listen to it music. It's so good.
So like Circle of Dead Children.
Yeah, but it stinks.
It stinks.
Nice and good.
Oh God. On that note, I hope you have a great flight. I hope everything in the UK goes nice and well. I hope y'all have sword fights break out in the pit.
Yes, absolutely. We actually like bought a battle axe in the UK and had it shipped to like one of the people who's helping us book the tour, and we're gonna be hoisting it every night. So
make sure to get your spiky armbands and everything. And
yeah, absolutely. Commit to the whole bit, dude. The whole bit.
Yeah, just commit. But yeah, enjoy your time. It was great talking to you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I loved it. And shout out Beans and Breakdowns. Keep the dream alive.
Take it easy.
Later.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Beans and Breakdowns. I want to say a huge thanks to Rohan for coming on the podcast. It was such a great time talking to him all about the coffee nerdery, Gradual Slip, all the music stuff he's got going on. Go ahead and show him some support. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave a review. You can find out more information about the podcast by following us on Instagram at Beans and Breakdowns or on the web at beansandbreakdowns.com. Until next week, be sure to stay caffeinated and wake the fuck up.